Good evening, gentlemen. Myself, Guru. I'm engineering manager in HPE ILO drivers. We write Proland Baremetal drivers for ILO servers, and this is my colleague Shiv Tendulker. So he's an active contributor in Ironic program. We are here to talk about a few of the features which we have upstreamed in last release, that is Mitaka release. So what enterprise customers require is flexibility, but yet more secure in terms of deployment of their workloads. So we have identified a few gaps that currently we have in the Ironic, which we strengthened in the Ironic code now, and we have submitted upstream. We'll also talk about the various components which involved in the bare metal provisioning, the image transfer between multiple entities. How do we enhance the security in these areas by transferring the images? We'll also touch upon some of the features that we are working on, which we have already submitted the code to upstream to make more secure your deploy ramdisk. How do you do a deploy with a assigned ramdisk image in Proland servers for bare metal provisioning? So I'll hand it over to Shiv to talk about the rest of the presentation.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so typically the bare metal provisioning, there are few touch points with for the other services like Glance, Swift, for the image fetching, or you can host the images in the web server. And all these communications, you will have to do HTTP or HTTPS. If you go for HTTPS, then you will have to use the default certificates will get used. But in many of the deployments, you don't want to use your company certificates, but you would like to use something that you can test internally, or you want to create a subdomains. Then you cannot use the HTTPS, then you will have to use most of the time HTTP images, which is a kind of when you want to test end-to-end for the secure thing before going into the production is a big bottleneck, because you cannot use your company certificates in a test network, because if your private key is compromised, then you lose that certificate and it can be misused. So somehow you will want to use the self-signed certificates, which is an alternate, wherein you can backtest all your setups and make sure that you are ready for the HTTPS. So these are the touch points where you want to use HTTP or HTTPS with the different services like Glance, Swift, or the web server. So if you do not have your self-signed certificates, or you are not going to use your own certificate, then you will have to fall back to the HTTP. So far, Ironic was not supporting the self-signed, providing any certificate, which are basically the self-signed certificates in the conf file to talk to these services like Swift or the Glance. That has been announced so that you can pass your own certificates, which can be used by Ironic to talk to these services through Swift and Glance. So this covers like when you want to fetch the images from the Swift and Glance, basically the deploy images and the final instance images. Another thing is Ironic also uses the deploy ramdisk, which is the IPA they call it. And this agent has also talks to these services to download the image and lay the image on the bare metal. So you will have to put your self-signed certificate also into this ramdisk so that it can start talking to these services, Glance or the Swift. So the DIB is enhanced to insert the self-signed certificates into the image in automated way. You have to just set a variable dib_ipa cert, giving it a path of your self-signed certificate, and it will get bundled into the deployed ramdisk when it gets built up. So this way you can use HTTPS encrypted connection from all your data transfer that are happening between your images and bare metal. So there is another feature that we are planning in the upcoming release is about UEFI secure boot. It's like using the UEFI secure boot during your deploy, so that Even during the deploy, you have like your certificates get validated at the firmware level, and you have the total secure deploy environment. UEFI Secure Boot is already supported in the instance images. If you have got signed images, they can be already used. So this is only that gap was remaining is during the deploy you are in a insecure environment. Especially some of the enterprise customers, they want like everything to be signed so that they don't have to trust is the deploy RAM disk was compromised or was it unsigned, and the instance images are unsigned, so they can use everything as a signed images. So this pretty much covers the enhanced security in the as far as the communication HTTP connection is communication is concerned between the Baremetal and other services. Yeah. So
Thank
any
you.
questions? Thank you.